TV?
No. Now we're live. Welcome to the CantinaMX podcast, episode 158. Joel and I. We're going to be podcasting during the Mexico game. We had to watch the United States. That's why we're late, though. That's the priority, no?
Yeah, the U.S. match against Colombia, really entertaining game. They went into overtime a good 5 minutes, and it ran into the feed of the Mexico-Costa Rica game, which is 12 minutes in. It looks like it's going to be looks like both teams are looking for the win here. For Tuca, this is his home game. This is Volcano, the Tigres Stadium, and he wants to look good. He's going to want to look good for his peoples. Um, there was some worry that it might not be full capacity. I'm not sure looking at it. Chiquis?
There's a guy, Omar, on Twitter. He's at the game. He's been tweeting some pictures. It's not full at all.
It's not.
It's sort of subdued, actually. I think Tom is reporting that there's not too much activity going on. But let me find his name so I can give him his proper shout out.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the U.S. Colombia game, and the U.S. got taken to the woodshed. They lost 4-2. And we're talking because these are Mexico's, their biggest rival, and they're going to be competing against them here, and for the Gold Cup and other tournaments. But even though there was that big 4-2 defeat, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say that they're a bad team. They had a young team. They had who was 18. He collaborated in the second U.S. goal.
El América es una mierda.
El Yon. Greetings, Yon.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Did you get to see the U.S. Colombia game?
I saw Falcao's. I saw James's goal and Falcao's goal and the fourth goal.
Oh. No, well, I mean, I'm just telling because, this is much like Mexico right now. U.S. is also playing with youth, and it could very well be an even younger team. They had the young at 18 right there playing, and yeah, they lost 4-2. The scoreline looks pretty bad for them, but I saw some interesting things, John. I think este equipo va a dar pelea,
Oh, there's no question. I mean, the U.S. is in. If I were a U.S. fan, I would be very optimistic. They have some very talented young players, and I think if the U.S. just plays to their absorb and counter, I think that they're going to be an extremely dangerous team.
Yeah,
but if they play to possess, they'll lose every time.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens.
Step away for just a second.
I know some people will be like, why talk about that? Well, because these teams, they're building up, and Costa Rica as well. And these are the rivals that Mexico's going to have to beat at Gold Cup, at League of Nations Cup, at if they're still doing the CONCACAF one to determine who goes to the confederations. So, I mean, these are the rivals, and these are a lot of the new talent. And so Costa Rica's without their coach. They just signed Gustavo Latosas. Actually, it's Matosas, but I guess he's not coaching this game. But I think those are the three teams that are going to be at the forefront going into the next World Cup cycle. Costa Rica, United States, and Mexico.
Yeah, same as always.
Yeah. The other teams, we have yet to see what they have. We what they have in store. Panama's a bit older side. Honduras had a young team going into this past cycle, so we'll see how many of those players survive or how many improve. Uh, it's always a coin toss with the Guatemalas and the El Salvadores, and then another coin flip, in the Caribbean to see if it's
Jamaica.
Trinidad or Jamaica or which one of those teams ends up having a good crop of players. For this Mexico team, they didn't call up some of the veteranos, and there's a big scandal going on right now. I wouldn't say scandal, more like a big debate over. Tuca said he didn't call him because they want to concentrate on youth, but then there's the news that's been getting reported that there's dispute over image rights.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I mean, and for weeks, this has been getting reported for weeks now that Chicharo and Layun were gonna get pushed aside because they were part of the group that was you could say protesting. Did you guys see the video from the former Mexico general manager, Nestor? And he was talking about the experienced players, how they're the most likely to cause the most problems.
I didn't listen to Base Nestor. What did he say?
Well, basically that he's like the more experienced players, they're the ones that bring the most to the team, but at the same time, they cause the most problems when it comes to rights for the national team because they feel that they're being exploited. Since they're famous now, they feel like the selección is profiting from them and they're not getting their just due. But Nestor was saying that they might not get more money from the Federación, but they are benefiting from being in the national team because they're getting more sponsorships, and being in the national team, you can negotiate better contracts with your club. So it's a pretty valid argument he has there.
So there's just a bunch of divas, basically the same as past generations, the same as always for the Mexican national team.
To an extent, sir, yes. So I mean, we have the young crop right here, who's.
But I'm gonna say like maybe it's the women's team failure that's made me remember this. I think we're, as Mexico fans, we're just in for a lifetime of disappointment and punishment with this team because it's
brutal.
It's the same mentality, man.
But
Mexico can dominate control, can have opportunities, but always fail in the end and always hit the post or miss the last quarter goal and all that. So it's
that's true. That's true. But at the same time, they've remained a top 15 team for the past 30 years, and that's no easy task. I guess the frustration as fans, we want them to be a top 10, and it doesn't seem that far, from 15 to 10, but it's so close yet so far. It is. It takes a lot to break into that top 10. It takes a lot, and
I think part of it's
that's
the
where a lot of
mentality.
the frustration comes from. Well, not just the mentality. I mean, we're talking about the quality of the league, quality of players being produced.
I say mentality because of the like the phrase Chicharito uses to try to hype themselves up.
Cosas chingonas.
Yeah, and then it always seems like
that almost a golazo from whoever's wearing number 14 for Mexico, diving header.
That would be
20 minutes.
Saldivar.
It just took 20 minutes, but Yeah.
I think I think I have Chicharito. Say, hang on, let's see. Is this it? Let's see.
Chingue a su madre el America.
That's
You know,
I keep hitting the wrong button.
you keep
That was a nice
you know
pass,
what?
though.
Chigas was just talking about the mentality,
Oh, here it
and
is.
I'm
Here it is.
gonna.
Let's see. Here we go.
Somos muy chingones, y la realidad.
There you go.
Yeah, he kind of has the right train of thought. But I'm gonna say just going on that about the whole mentality, and I think a big reason is that these players get paid really well. So from a very young age, they pretty much already made it. You know, which they'll have a house, they could have a business. Their life is pretty set. You know, more comfortable than it had been for the most part. And I do think that plays because conformistas they get they settle in with that and uh, you see the difference, for example, with Mexican boxers, you know, where it's like it takes a lot for them to make it big. So when we talk about Mexican boxers being like the best in the world, there's no doubt in that. So it's like, why can a Mexican boxer have that mentality, to be among the elite, but the soccer players don't? And I'm gonna say that their struggle is a lot harder for the most part. They have to do like over 20 fights without losing, you know, 20, 40 fights of just.
See, that's what happened to me, Joel, is that I had 19, and then I lost, and then after that, it was over for me. So I couldn't.
You lost at the 19th. No, but
Yeah, I lost
imagine
at the 20th.
you have the
Though.
next you have the next Canelo, and 3 fights in, he's already a millionaire.
The boxing's
Chances are
different.
he's not gonna train as hard.
Well,
The,
yeah,
the playing
Canelo.
field,
He's
the
gonna
playing
dial
field
it
is
in, man.
the playing field is more even in boxing than it is, even I think even back then, because right now when Mexico first starts, already the dominant powerhouses are in Europe, the teams. So there's a huge level change or a skill level in the top teams, whereas Mexico's down low and they're trying to catch up.
Well, at skill
Right
level,
now
I,
they're
I
trying
would.
to think,
Chickies, if
that
we,
they can reach those levels, but they really can't. But deep down inside, they know they idolize all these guys and they know they look up to these guys and they're better, but they don't say it, out loud. They say all these phrases like trying to boost their confidence, but they know deep down that they're trying to aspire to those levels.
well, you know what? I'm gonna say this as far as skills levels concerned. I mean, something we've seen in the past, 6 World Cups now. Mexico's not. They're a team that could go head up pretty much against anyone. So I mean, their skill is good. It's among the best. But what I think lacks is consistency.
Well,
So we could have.
I always think back to that guy Chiellini when Juventus was playing Tottenham last year in the Champions League, and Tottenham, had the in the first leg they got the advantage. They won the first leg, and in the second leg they got to go. So they looked like it was good. Tottenham were going through, and then Juventus ends up getting the 2 goals that they need to win the match, win the tie, and they advance. And Chiellini said after the match, he said, I said, I'm not disrespecting Tottenham. I said, they're a great team. I said, but they're Tottenham. And I says, what I mean by that is that they don't play in they're in the Champions League once every 10 years. They don't play games at this level very often. So they don't necessarily know how to manage them as well as other teams. And he said that we knew we were going to have an opportunity to win the game because of the fact that they were inexperienced at this level. And aside from playing on the Copa Oros and Copa Americas and in the World Cups and Mexico doing well in the group stage, and the reality is when it comes to games like that, they have very few players on Mexico's team that has played extremely high level games where they can manage results like that, and that's the biggest difference. That is the biggest difference between Mexico and, as you point out, those top two teams. Because I mean, to me, the top tier teams are Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Italy, usually. France now for sure, and Spain. Because their players, and Belgium. I mean, we talked about it in the World Cup. Belgium had 18 of their 22 players play in the Premier League, and then when you think of their best players, their best players play on the best teams, and they play really well on those best teams. So they're going to be just great players. Mexico just doesn't have that. Mexico has a once in a generation player that might play for a team like that. We've had Hugo, we've had Rafa, and that's it.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, and I'm 46.
And then Chicharo kind of got close. He touched.
Chicharo had
fingertips.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he got close in the sense that he scored over 20 goals that one season at Man U, and then he was at Real Madrid, where I would say politics kept him out of that team because he was on loan, but whenever he played, he produced and he scored or he gave an assist.
Yeah,
he got a penalty.
He got him to the semifinals. His goal.
Against Atleti.
Put him in the semifinals.
Yeah, but I mean, there was some politics there, so there's some bad luck, where they kind of like, I think there was just Benzema, he had just too much pull right there.
Oof.
Uy, golazo. Oof. Just 2 minutes earlier, Costa Rica had already threatened. Costa Rica had threatened Mexico.
Costa Rica is playing with their seasoned, very veteran team. This should be a Costa Rica win.
This is their World Cup team. Then you're saying, Tom?
Yeah. This is their gallos.
These are their gallos, which they don't seem to be that like an older team compared to like some of the other CONCACAF teams had like Panama, even the U.S. Looking into the previous cycle where they have players that were already like in their 30s. I'll say they're top stars.
That's your tocayo, no? Joel Campbell. Joel Campbell, no?
Oh man, that guy was the Arsenal player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at Arsenal, and then I think he beat actually Chicharito Manchester when he was like either Panathinaikos or the other one. One of the Greek teams, and he scored a couple of golazos in that.
Yeah, bad defending right there in this Mexico team. This is John.
You'll never guess who discovered Joel Campbell. You'll never guess.
I'll never guess. And it's Arsenal.
Well, he ended up going to Arsenal.
Yo siempre digo que el fútbol algunas veces, en mi punto de vista, es como el ajedrez.
I almost got there. Ese equipo yo lo armé.
That's right.
Wow, interesting. This we were saying, John, how this is this is Tuca's. He's at his home, man. He's playing with his fans. It's a bit disappointing that it's not a sellout.
It's actually incredibly surprising.
Yeah,
but they should have done it at the other place.
Usually very supportive.
Yeah, they should have done it at the other. I mean, I know what they're doing and what they were trying. At least Tuca is. What he's saying is, listen, we'll have those 6 games. I'm gonna just watch guys. I mean, to Tuca, this is essentially a practice.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, because all he's doing is he's given all 20. There's going to be a set of one and a set of the other playing the 2 games.
Unfortunately, we lack that mentality where, and by we, I mean like Mexican fans and Mexican press, where we can't value how, in the long run, this is benefiting some of these younger guys. They're going to see the defeat, and they're going to go Chicken Little mode. The sky is falling.
Right.
I was already hearing the other day, Pietrasanta. Oh man, I don't know how that guy. I don't know how that guy's in fútbol picante, man. Uh, but he was already talking about Yon de Luisa tenure, and he's saying how it's a fracaso.
Yeah.
He's like, and I'm like, dude, it
3
just
months
started.
in. 3 months
Yeah,
in.
3 months in. I'm like, dude, just chill, man. Imagine you starting a job somewhere.
Well, but now that you
Anyways,
said that,
well, let me tell you what he was highlighting. He was saying, one, Selección doesn't have a coach. You know,
yeah.
he said the female team got eliminated. You know, they didn't qualify to the World Cup, to the female World Cup. And then he was saying that how the Selección had lost.
Nice.
Uy, golazo. I think, John, you're ahead of me by a few seconds.
Yeah. It
I
appears to be
haven't
so.
seen it.
Hey man,
But
that is how.
That's the Chihuahua Guzman
Yep.
now at Pachuca.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a knee injury before the World Cup. Otherwise, I think he would have probably made the team because he was the líder goleador, wasn't he? That scene now, I got to tell you, 9 times out of 10, a Mexican player on a play like that would not one time it. They would try to settle it and shoot.
They would stop it and
Acomodarse.
then acomodarse, get the right foot.
He just tried it and it worked.
Oh man, that's a beautiful goal.
Yeah.
Oof. I would score those goals in Cascaritas.
Man, that was nice. That's one of the nicest goals Mexico scored in a long time. I got to tell you, that contraataque that Tigres scored on in the Colombia game against the U.S. was I counted it, 7 touches to go 95 yards or whatever it was, and they scored on 7 touches.
I've seen 3, John. I've seen 3 touches. That's the fastest goal I've seen. It was Chivas when they were being coached by Leo Benhacker. The goalie kicked it, got to midfield. I forgot who had it, and then Ismael Espinosa used to be the striker for Chivas.
Right.
He ran at the ball, and before it landed, he one-timed it.
Talk about a pecho frío on la selección, man.
Oh yeah, what a disappointment! And he got plenty of chances, plenty.
Because he was in the in that spot where Luis Garcia and Hugo and Sagi were all retiring, so there was like a major vacuum at the striker position after the '94 World Cup.
It's him, Daniel Guzman,
and Hermosillo was on the Luis, the second part of his, in the last part of his career. So
Luis Hernandez was kind of like you said.
Yeah, but he wasn't the Chivas striker.
No, I know Luis Hernandez didn't make it till he was older, but he was already playing. But and you know what, John? Just look at all the strikers you named, and that's basically the problem with this Mexico team. They're not at that quality if you name them. It's like we went backwards.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had to rely on, in the '98 World Cup, it was, and of course, Cuauhtemoc, that's when he started coming around. So, but he wasn't necessarily a striker as much as he was a forward. I mean, I wouldn't consider Cuauhtemoc a striker at all.
But in the league, like in the league, there was all these options. You had all these Mexican strikers, getting regular playing time, competing for the goal scoring title. You just don't have that anymore. I mean,
it's been a long time.
We still have Oribe, and he's in his 30s, and he's still like one of the few Mexicans that's up there in the.
This is something that we brought up here on the CantinaMX podcast right after the World Cup, because we were.
Yeah,
when there's only 3 or 4 teams that even start Mexican strikers.
Yeah, and John, the other thing we said was that not be surprised if we see a naturalizado, and just recently I believe Furch of La Furcho fame got his documentation.
No, he's not La Furcho because right now he's scoring furchazos.
Yeah. No, but that's how that was his fame with us, you know.
Right. Oh yeah, indeed. But
Burchazos, yeah.
shoot.
No.
Oh, too bad. The but the issue still remains though is that there's just not enough Mexican players playing extremely high level matches.
No,
And that's what Mexico needs to aspire to. It doesn't necessarily, so I'm fine. To me, I think if the Mexican league, in my opinion, is of a good enough quality, I think, where a Mexican player, if they're going to make the jump, don't jump to, if you're going to jump to a quote unquote feeder league in Europe, at least go to a competitive one like the Bundesliga or even France, or just make the jump. Chucky Lozano is a good player. I mean, he, in my opinion, can play at Valencia right now and start.
Yeah, and that was, I think, wasn't that one of the other teams, because there was a big disagreement right there with the Pachuca brass, because there was some that wanted him to go to La Liga. They felt that he would have been better off going over there, and then the others pushed for PSV, where they seem to have some type of accord, because then they sent the other guy just recently.
Well, I'm sure that there's a promoter involved somewhere.
Yeah, but you're right. He would have been better off in La Liga, man.
I mean, right off.
It just, to me, it's a bit amusing to see, like, you see him dominating, and I see a lot of the fans saying, like, they kind of make it seem like PSV taught him that.
Right, exactly.
It was like, why? No, come on, man. He didn't learn that in a couple weeks, in a couple months, how to do all that.
I mean, he was scoring goals against America and at the Estadio Azteca in his first match, and good goals. I mean, this kid had it from the very start. And to me, I mean, this is the second year now in Europe, and he's played well in the Champions League to boot. So it's not like
that was our thing. Remember, John? We said if he's gonna make the jump to the other league, he's not gonna be by dominating Holland, because that's just, it has to be, you're gonna have to look good in the Champions League, and transfer market right now has him valued at 44 million euros.
Really?
It's about $50 million, man.
I didn't realize he was rated that high. So it's obviously this is, so I mean, the first couple of games he's played, I mean, he hasn't like set the world on fire, but he's played well. He scored. He hasn't disappeared.
Yeah, he's
had one disallowed.
Pecho against Barcelona a little bit. He could tell he was looking up to those guys, and he was a little bit pressured.
Oh, stop it! He was probably nervous as hell. I mean, you're playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you're playing against a big team, yeah, but we're talking about a player who's supposed to be, the next big thing, and if we want him to move to these.
But he still had a good game. He still had a good. I mean, he didn't fall apart. Did he fall apart?
Yeah, he fell apart. That's what I'm saying. He fell apart towards the end. Like that one goal, he used his speed. He beat the Barcelona defender on the right side, and then he shoots it from an angle that's totally impossible instead of trying to beat the defender. So it was his lack of confidence, I think, and okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to take this shot before a defender, takes it from me, or this is my opportunity to at least try to make a shot on goal when the angle was totally off. So
do you guys know who number? Do you guys know who number 25 is for Mexico?
What position is he playing?
He's the defender. He's the guy that lost Campbell.
That's Angulo, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's very young. No, that's Chase, I mean, I know that you're signaling out one play, but I think overall in the match, I thought he acquitted himself very well. Did he miss Chen yet? But you know what? You're not going to score on every single one of your chances. But I mean, again, it's not like he completely fell apart and was non-existent and didn't have any kind of influence on the game. And I don't think you can say that about Chucky in that game. He influenced the game. Did he score now? But he made his presence felt.
What was the final score though? I mean, Barcelona pretty much.
It was of course that. But did you think that anything different was going to happen? I mean, Barcelona is one of the three best teams on the planet.
Yeah,
and PSV, unfortunately, their goal, in my opinion, for this Champions League, other than to get experience, is to get the third place spot so they can go play the Europa League. That has to be there because there's no way they're going to make it to the round of 16. They're just not. They're just not good enough. The Dutch league has always been más o menos, right? But that was a very nice play. But their top teams have always been decent. Their top teams have always been decent. Ajax.
Is this a penalty? Did a penalty just get called in?
It must have, because the players are acting like it was.
I might be being a negative Nancy, but like
you're always a negative Nancy, dude.
I think Joel I think mentioned it a little bit. The Dutch league.
That's that.
I think we're like I'm lowering my thoughts on that.
That was man. Sorry, Chiquis, that was a clear handball.
Yeah, absolutely.
By number 26 of Mexico. I don't have the names.
Oh yeah.
But
that is Fundolento.
Van Rankin.
What?
It was Arteaga who let Campbell score.
Oh, it was Arteaga. So this was.
Why are you trying to blame my boy Van Rankin, man? Come on.
It was Van Rankin on the.
Why is he your boy, man? Why is he your boy?
Because he's the only Chivas player that's having a good season.
Yeah, he's helping make Chivas great again.
Where was he made though?
So because in the one half chance that Chucky Lozano had against Barcelona, and he didn't convert, so to you that was an absolute abject failure of a game for Chucky.
I think it shows. It's a better sign at his true to Mexico fans who see him score all these goals and I would say this might be harsh, a mediocre European league. He needs to move out of that league quick to show his true worth. Which that was sort of a
44 million. If he's worth 44 million euro, then he is.
Money doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't mean anything to me. If he goes and moves to a Spanish team and makes 75% of the amount of goals that he's making in Holland, then I'll be impressed. Then I'll be okay. This kid is for real. His mentality is up there with the big guys. When I saw that failure, I was like, okay, that's a
seriously. So again, a half chance in it. To me, a failure is when you have a one-on-one with the keeper, right? And it's just you and him.
And it's a mentality thing.
That to me is a failure.
You have a decision to make. Your team has very few chances to even score against Barcelona, and you go for a shot that's like at a totally bad angle instead of trying to take on the defender. That shows, okay, your confidence may not be fully up there. You don't want to risk, looking bad trying to take on the defender one-on-one. Let's just go for a shot that's never going to make it in there. I mean, it's just one little thing. He played well the rest of the game. His speed was tremendous. He beat people off, with his speed. So yeah, he's definitely a valuable player, but there's certain little things. Because I want him to be bigger than Chicharito was, because he certainly has better skills in many aspects than Chicharito. But he needs to go to like a Man U, a Real Madrid, just like Chicharito, teams like that, and then do well.
Well, I mean, this is his test, and so far I think he's passing. They played Inter, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he had they lost 2-1, but he assisted on the goal. He made the pase para goal for the first goal, so he obviously had a direct impact on the result of the game there. And somewhere he had a goal disallowed. Was that against Barcelona or was that against Inter?
Inter. It
was against Inter, so he scored, but it was disallowed. Was it offside or was it like some pendejada referee where like they really posed him? So, not sure. Again, so they get Tottenham next. They have Tottenham twice, and then Inter and Barcelona to round it out. Again, to me, the battle is against Inter for the Europa League spot, and that's another league that's kind of slipped too, and that's Italy. But the only team that can afford to pay players, the big players, is Juventus, which is why they did what they did. with Ronaldo.
Halftime, Mexico losing 2-1. Does Tuca give the team one of his classic
I don't think Tuca gives
Tuca regañazo?
flying farts at any kind of strategy and tactics for this game. I think it's like, hey, we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this. Y'all go out and figure it out. I think that's Tucas, and he's just watching. He's just writing notes on each player. That's all he's doing. He's gonna turn in his report at the end. And then the next two, he's got Tuca's going to the Bombonera. They're gonna play Argentina twice. That's very interesting that they're doing that.
That's odd.
And it's going to be in Argentina, so that's going to be Joel. That sounds that if we were younger, I would say road trip.
Certainly for both games, but yeah, me pegan. I can't stay out too long.
That's right. I forgot that you were you have joined the legion of the married men.
Yeah. It's Mary, MERRY. We wear tights and we sing. That they're playing Argentina is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a friendly Mexico in South America. So
it's been a long. I remember when I was a kid, they used to play Brazil because Brazil would not go to Mexico, so they had to go play them in Brazil.
Yeah, but I can't remember. It's been all games in the U.S.
Right.
For like over 20 years now, so I can't.
Oh, it's been longer than that.
Yeah, outside of Copa America. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think those things, like in the early '90s, is when the Molero started, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what was the default South America? It was Miami.
Right. Well, it still is.
It was like the Universal Studios backlot when they need to do when they need to do a scene in New York, they just use the Universal Studios backlot.
The thing about Miami is, it's not just the Europeans. I mean, the Europeans love Miami, absolutely love it. That's why that MLS team is going to be they're going to be a major player because they're going to be able to attract some mid-level kind of guys that can that are just totally digging living in Miami. It's good. I think it's going to be a good move for MLS to have a Miami team.
That team's been they already have a team. Well, I mean in Florida, so the two teams maybe established
there was a Miami team in the MLS of the Miami Fusion.
Oh, that I was still thinking of them. The Mutiny. They had the Mutiny.
Well, they had the Tampa Mutiny, but outside the Miami Fusion.
The other one was Tampa, right? Tampa Bay Mutiny.
Tampa Bay Mutiny with Pibe.
I got to see him play, but I saw him at the Rose Bowl. It was Mexico versus
Colombia.
Belibor was the coach, and it was the Nike Cup. Mexico versus the U.S. And then when that game ended, half the stadium left, but we were treated to a double, And
they played the Mexico-U.S.
double
first?
feature. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did, and it was hot. It was really hot. And then afterwards was the Tampa Bay versus the Galaxy. And I wanted to see Pibe, man. That guy just walked in the field.
Was Brody playing on the?
If they did a burn chart, it'll probably just be like 5x5.
like Buffos in the game against Argentina 2010 World Cup.
But that guy's like touch and pass was amazing to see, man.
He
didn't even need to see where the player were. And the ball came to him, and it's like he had eyes in back of his throw, and he just like his passes were very accurate. He just like he knew where his teammates were.
Can I tell you something, Joel? When I was doing the Copa America stuff, I was flying to the next venue. Bibe was at the American Airlines line behind me,
Oh,
and I said hello, but that was as far as I didn't want to be that guy,
oh,
so I said
said,
buenos dias. He said buenos dias. Buenos
did you
dias.
say Don Pibe, or
I should
Senor
have.
Pibe?
Buenos dias, Don Pibe.
You know, to this name, oh yes, Carlos, I forget his name, and it just calls him Pibe, which is pretty interesting. You know, that's like Argentine slang
Right.
for kid. So I never found out how he got that name.
He is interesting looking dude. I think he was with his wife actually. She was they were very nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like he just like brushed me off. Like, no, move on, move along.
Move along.
Todo bien, todo bien. El pibe.
Yeah, he never changed his look.
So
I saw.
let's. Sorry, Joel. I don't want to. I'll give you your one last love letter to Pibe.
One last. No, that was it, man. That was just. It was nice to get to see him play. You know.
So 3 months in in Tocayo's reign at the Femex Foot, and in those 3 months he's seen Mexico, crash out of a World Cup where they were -5 on the goal differential their last 2 games, and then they lose badly to Uruguay as was discussed before the match by Chiquis. And then they lose the other friendly to the hated rivals, the U.S. 1-0, where the U.S. are now convinced that they have the upper hand in the rivalry. And we have that happening. They still have they haven't found a coach. They've made 24 inquiries, but those 24 weren't necessarily candidates. How do you think those 24 feel now? And then on top of that, just this week, the Mexican women's national team, after the Liga MX Femenil in its third or fourth year, done pretty well. They've sold some tickets for some games. They have I'm not gonna say a strong league, but a league that's been. They have a league. And they lose to the U.S. badly, 6-0 in their first match. So they were up against it on the goal differential. Beat Trinidad 4-1, but look poor doing so. Not necessarily a team as experienced as Mexico. You think would play a little better, and then ended up being totally outplayed by Panama. Panama that deservedly wins 2-0 against Mexico. And
wait, they were totally outplayed, or I heard they had pretty good shots on goal, and Chardonnay missed a penalty kick that should have got them up 1-0 before the half.
Hey, Panama made their chances, and Mexico didn't. That to me is a team that gets outplayed.
Yeah, but what I was talking to Joel earlier was that we know Mexico for their bad finishing, for losing against teams like this who bunker down and don't get as many opportunities on shots on goal, and it seems like it's transmitted over to the femenine, because the exact same thing happens to them, where they should have beat Panama. They have a penalty kick they miss. They have many opportunities. I think some balls hit the post, and then they end up losing.
That's just bad luck to me for the femenil. I think it's just one of those games, man. Where anything that can go wrong goes wrong.
I had an interesting thought on them when I was listening to the Mexican
they missed a
show.
penalty. They missed it.
Well, yeah, I was listening to them talk about it, the three homegirls, and I was thinking, okay, so Mexican Americans aren't allowed to go to the Liga MX Femenine.
No.
So these Mexican girls.
What now?
They're just Americans, though. In Mexico, they're just Americans.
Yeah, the American girls.
They're just gringos over there, man.
The gringos that play for the Mexican national team cannot play in the Liga MX Femenine.
Why not?
Well, they no foreigners. I think they have a no foreign rule.
Yeah.
For I guess for a couple years they just want to develop local talent.
Yeah. So these girls
They're
are
doing
barely
what I
starting.
hope Liga MX does one day.
But this is a brand new league, so I wouldn't expect these girls who just barely starting to play.
Yeah, it's going to take them
soccer to do very well.
Right.
If this team was all Mexican American girls, all gringas, then maybe they have the experience of university, they have the experience of the NWSL. But if you mix in, and I might be totally wrong, but the talent of girls that are in Mexico that barely have started playing in an established league, then their level is not going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna take a couple of years to settle down. Get in the groove of things.
Well, I mean, I was watching their game against Trinidad, and what I saw was they just had no imagination, and as you point out, they're just terrible finishing. I mean, and it was like, it reminded me, oddly enough, of Mexico's 1982 World Cup campaign, which they did not qualify for either, by tying Haiti and losing to El Salvador. And what ended up happening, again, they just, it wasn't that they were bad at finishing. They just couldn't finish. They couldn't get to a spot to finish because they would always make that one pass they just didn't have to make. Instead of shooting, it's got to pass. Or instead of, you could just see it. They just, for whatever reason, they just couldn't pull the trigger. And that's what I saw here. I saw them trying to make, as if they were trying to make the pretty goal. Make that one last pretty pass, and it just put them in bad spots, and they were also just so. I mean, everything was down the. Everything was down the flanks. Everything. I mean, and it was down the flanks and puro centro. And against bigger, taller teams, it's never going to work.
No, but a good thing. Not that it's good, but a good. For lack of a better term. At least people are paying attention now. Because how many times did the U.S. not? How many times did Mexico not qualify? That the female team not, and it didn't even make the news.
Right. I mean, so they had I think in 2007, because I know they made the 11 and the 15. In 2007, they qualified for the playoff, but they had to play Japan, and it was a home and home, and I think they either won 1-0 or was 0-0 here, but Japan won like 2-0 or in Japan, so they ended up so it's not as if this is the first time they have made the World Cup. But you're right, though, Hoyt. I mean, as people are noticing, and again, if Mexico's going to be serious, if they're going to be serious about women's soccer, then take it seriously. And and it looks like they're taking those steps. But as Chiki says, it's only the league's just 2 years old. Let's see how they do in the next World Cup cycle. That would be a much better judge of whether or not the league is doing what they hope it does, which is to make the female Mexican player better. So we'll see, because I know at the youth levels they seem to do pretty well in CONCACAF. So let these girls go up against some of these pros, as professionals, and then we'll see how that turns out for them. So hopefully it'll be a little better next time going around. But you would have to think that despite all that this was a very, very, very big black mark on the on the sport in Mexico by not qualifying. I mean, there's no denying that.
I wonder if it was in the papers this morning.
Well, if there was only some way that we had some way of finding that out.
Well, being negative and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. And then this friendly result, if Mexico lose, they'll be out there humiliating the men's team on the morning papers.
I don't know. I mean, Mexico's playing with a bunch of guys. I mean, they're just they're making their, if not their debut, their second or third cap. I think that the ones that are doing that are just doing it just to do it. But I think that and anyone that knows what's going on, I don't think would have a problem with Mexico losing.
Second half about to start.
This was the
Gaylord right there.
Yeah, Brian Ruiz, Joel Campbell. They have does Gamboa still play or Fonseca? Is he still playing for Costa Rica? What about Medford? I used to have Medford. He was my striker in FIFA, like 03 or 04. I forget what it was.
Yeah, not Medford.
He was a badass. He was such a great header of the ball in that game. It was. I
didn't know you played fun. FIFA, John.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know you played a.
Hey, so who is the old, long-haired, ratty-looking dude that's always with the?
He looks like Master Splinter.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Who is that guy?
He's just waiting for the ooze to spill so he could raise some turtles.
I mean, he looks like he could be a character on Mayans. And he's
he's the guy that sweeps their motorcycle club.
That's right.
They need to put in Jurgen down. That's my man.
Jurgen?
Well, he's the he should be the local hero.
The one-trick pony.
Jurgen, the second fastest soccer player, just behind Bale.
So anyway, back to the so does this make Yon de Luisa look bad then?
Nah, man, wait till the tournaments,
Is it time to throw Yon de Luisa out, Joel?
No, that's
the boot.
More like Pietrasanta and some of these guys keep talking shit. They're gonna find that they're gonna find their beat out from some of these press places. They won't be able to get into the locker room. I don't think Mr. Zelisa cares, man.
So what does it say about
him?
About Henry Martin that Jurgen Damm is taller than him?
That's typical.
Wait, how tall is Jurgen? Is he 6? Is he at like 6 feet?
I don't know.
6'2", 6'1".
Jurgen is even taller than.
Let me ask the internet.
Than Tuca.
Yeah, Tuca's not tall and Martin's not tall. So here's a thought though.
There was another Mexican German way back when. I'm going back to 95. He played at Tecos. His name was Marcus Lopez. I don't know what his German last name was, but he was. I think his mom was German, and that dude was like 6'5". He was a holding midfielder. Really? Yeah.
Man,
would have called him up, but he would have creamed his pants, huh? He would have been immovable. He's 6'1".
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Jurgen Damm is 6'1".
Wow.
Yeah, Marcus Lopez's name was spelled with a K.
Marcus Lopez was his name. That's
okay.
Awesome.
So
I don't remember him at all, honestly.
You know what? I think that he wasn't as tall as I thought he was. Because I'm checking his height now, and it has him at 6'2". But I had seen him at
6'2" in Liga MX is like 6'6" anywhere else.
No, but I had seen, and I'm going way back. When you needed this info from magazines. There he is, Gustavo Latosas, taking a selfie.
That noise. He's taking pictures of the.
Hey, nice belt, man. This guy, he
I gotta tell
nice.
you, I think that this is a slam dunk hire for Costa Rica. I think it's exactly what they need.
Well, Latosas was vetoed from Liga MX. He pissed someone off, and they vetoed him. so he couldn't
Well,
get any jobs.
his last gig was America, so who did he piss off in America?
Probably Mr. Yon, your tocayo. And the other guy that had been vetoed is Mati, but I think he extended an olive branch. So I think we might see him in 2 years. I give it 2 years.
And he'll be back?
He'll be back, yeah.
That was a good move on his part, too, I thought. I don't think it was necessarily where he wanted to be, but I think that it's I think that it could certainly be a great place for him to rehab his image and
yeah. And you know the one thing I'm wondering, because a lot of times a club will pay you like say you got sacked and you still have like 2 years left in your contract, and they'll keep paying you. But if you get a job, then like they don't have to.
Oh, yes.
So I mean, if that was in the stipulation or in the contract, like the recession, and Chivas doesn't have to pay him, I think that would be one of the reasons. I think another reason is he has an academy in Texas. I think it's Houston. It's called Almeida FC.
Yeah.
And you could rent a field there. Like he has like
really
professional regulation size field, 200 an hour if you want to rent. If you want to rent the cancha right there. So $400 to play a game. I used to pay $5 when I played at Sunday Pub League. So this is like what, maybe 25 a player? Because you got to pay a coach. I mean,
Right.
not a coach, a ref. You have to pay a ref. It was like $50. Not bad. But it does have its academy.
But I don't want to deal with that.
I don't get the hype with Almeida, but whatever. Chivas fans influence spreads.
Yeah, he won a lot of trophies for Chivas, and I know that people want to belittle that, but trophies are trophies. You can only win the tournaments that you're playing in. And
hey, John, you're in Houston. Wait, aren't both of you guys in Houston?
Hell no! How dare you, sir? How dare you, sir?
I was gonna say you guys could go swing by the Mati Academy, his training academy.
I was gonna play, but because you said that, Joel, I think for the rest of the any time I'm gonna play something Guadalajara related, it's gonna be this. Just to make you feel bad. just to make you feel bad.
Ronnie's gonna be offended.
Because then it's the America theme, but it's also Parchis, one of your boyhood favorite bands.
It was. I was brought up on Parchis, who I thought were Mexican until recently.
Now Timbiriche was Mexican.
Timbiriche was Mexican.
Because if I'm not mistaken,
were just really white Mexicans.
Well, like Timbiriche.
Timbiriche is like the Jose Ramon. Like the Jose Ramon of.
The more things change, they stay the same.
Wasn't Thalia and wasn't she one of the original members of Timbiriche?
Yeah, she was.
No wonder.
I think that's why Chiqui started wearing a headband.
That explains a lot of things for me, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
Who was else on that?
Yeah. So anyway, so Mati goes to San Jose Earthquakes. They're in dead last place. I was able to produce a Dynamo game a few weeks ago against San Jose, and they were in dead last place. They were just not playing well. They go up 2-0 in the first half and lose the match 3-2. Just not a very good. They just did not have a very good season. They had already fired their coach. So, but they have some talent. It is MLS. I mean, you can go get yourself 2 or 3 solid players, and you can have the makings of a decent team. So we'll see how it turns out for him. I do think that two coaches that have had success in Mexico with Matosas and now in Costa Rica and Almeida up in San Jose. It's starting to make me wonder if it really is going to come down to Queiroz and who was the other guy and Tata Martino, who's with Atlanta, who I'm pretty sure that they've actually had some pretty in-depth conversations with.
Well, some of the news leaking now is saying that the Lisa does not want a Mexican coach. So Mexicans vetados.
Who now? Do you think that he would actually say that to anybody in an official capacity, or do you think that that's just an agent?
No, I think it's for political reasons. Because these coaches are always backed by clubs and all that. So I guess it's better for them to have someone that's not affiliated.
Someone that's independent.
I mean, just to avoid all this infighting, which we've seen all the time. It was a big cause for the whole when Hugo Sanchez was coach,
Right.
There was this whole group against him, including Vergara and.
Well, Vergara had him fired. Vergara was the one who told him not to let the door hit him in the ass on the way out. I mean, that was probably his last. And then Vergara went out and got Sven. Televisa said, "Here's some rope. Go for it, brah. Don't call us when it all falls apart."
Yeah.
Because we're going to be the ones that are going to bail you out. And that's pretty much what happened. It's unbelievable to me that Sven would start two 18-year-olds who had never played qualifiers in their lives. In their first match at the Azteca against probably the toughest team to play for them there, Honduras, and then he plays, three 18-year-olds in the game just because they played in Europe. And Leandro, boy, Sven had a massive man crush on Leandro. He was a Sven inamovible.
And then he was also playing Bozo.
Yeah, he didn't care. He did not care about the nationality. He just like if they're eligible and they're playing well, if I like their style, they're going to be on the team. So when you say no Mexico, like no Liga MX affiliated coach, or just straight up, it has to be an extranjero.
No Mexican, like Mexican national from Liga MX.
Well, again, so is it just any coach that's Liga MX affiliated, or just a?
No, I just heard no Mexicans. So
I don't believe it. I just don't believe that anybody would be stupid enough to make that kind of comment to anybody.
Well, it got leaked, man.
Well, that is if it did get leaked, that it didn't get leaked by Yon de Luisa. You know what I mean? That's somebody with a bone to pick. If it's even true that it was something that he said, which I'm not entirely. Oh, that was nice. I'm not entirely sure of.
Oof.
Henry Martin, come on.
This is the amiguis in the chat. They were talking about the spirit that this team shows, which I have to agree.
Damn.
If anything, this is algo que resaltar from this squad is that they don't throw the towel. They could be getting outplayed or not looking good, but they'll keep fighting, which is something we saw against Uruguay.
Well, I mean, they don't know any better. They're not the jaded 30-somethings that have played 3 and 4 World Cups. Man, it was Jurgen with the pass. Look at that. Took us 2 subs. He's a genius. A genius, that man. 2 subs, they scored in 10 minutes.
And that's like that's Jurgen's 1 out of like 100.
That's right.
that he's gonna send right, because he has the capacity of an AYSO under 12 player when it comes to crossing, man. He'll send them everywhere except where they're supposed to be. Um,
I remember one time I put that I forget who it was that would, and I said that that this guy was the Jurgen Damm of Gringo Castros. Like this guy would just having a rough time crossing the ball. Gringo Castro,
yeah,
I mean, that was just, I mean, how many times did he just make it just a terrific plays to get down there, and just, and it has looks at what he's doing, has enough time to look and try, and then just send one like 80 yards the wrong way. Just terrible.
His legacy is the Michael Jackson dance.
That is true. He did end it on a high note.
Yeah.
Gringo Castro. He actually had a really good game against Costa Rica in that qualifier when they won 3-0 on the goals that I'm not going to lie, I thought were just the beginning of what I thought was going to be an incredible career for Giovanni Dos Santos with the national team. Where just the goal that he scored and the two that he set up were just put the team on my back kind of moment. He was 19 at the time, just incredible plays. It's very unfortunate for him that
I thought you were going to say because I recall a Costa Rica game, like a Mexico game in Costa Rica, and I think it was quite a while since they've won in Costa Rica, and it was like a lot of pressure. Jimmy Lozano came up with a nice set piece goal, and they ended up winning.
Yeah, and then remember he scored 10 minutes later on the Palomita.
Yeah, it was 2. So he scored 2 then, right?
Yeah, he scored 2 in 10 minutes. Yeah, it was yeah, those were, man, that was another player that, man, when he was on. Well, what a great player he was when he played well. I thought he was I remember it was like in 04, 03, 04, 05 when he was a national team and just lighting people up. That I thought he was going to be like, and he was a Puma, so I thought, this guy's going to be the next super duper star. I just thought he was just a terrific player.
Yeah, he was good.
Man, his free kicks were just outstanding.
Hey, speaking of Gringo Castro, he was last working with Querétaro in their youth team.
Gotta hope he's not showing him how to cross. Hope he's not the crossing coach.
Oh man, I would hire Pony Ruiz as the crossing coach. I remember people would say that that a lot of the Borghetti goals was just Pony Ruiz banking the ball off of his head.
Now Borghetti was an amazing header of the ball.
You say all Borghetti had to do was just stand in the box, and then Pony would do the rest, man.
Tecate coming in.
And Raúl Jiménez. Yeah, so I was actually watching the show on Univision de called Los Mejores 10, and they had like those Mejores 10 campeones inesperados, and they had a Santos against the Necaxa, like in '96, I think it was, the first torneo corto. And Necaxa was Necaxa, the super team, the killers, La Puente and Peláez and Nacho and Garcia Espe, Aguinaga, just this Nacho Ambriz.
Was Ivo Basay? Was he still there, or was he gone?
I can't remember. Yeah, they had a great. I mean, they were the team of at least the early part of the '90s. Just a terrific team, and then no one had heard of these Santos guys, and it was Pony Ruiz, and they was sending, like you said, centros to this young guy named Jared, who was. They bought from Atlas, and yeah, it just, the rest is history. I didn't even know Isaac Brizuela was playing. So obviously that didn't work out too well for Mexico. And Raúl Jiménez was having a very good start to a season.
I think about 50% or 60% of the goals scored.
56%.
56. There you go.
50. I did. I was doing some number crunching earlier, Joel, and it added up to 56%. 56%.
That's very good. I mean, he's not scoring goals, but that's very effective. You want that player in the field.
Yeah. And he does. He reminds me a lot of how Kikín used to play, where, that's why I always thought that Kikín and Cuauhtémoc were a great partnership.
That's an insult.
Cuauhtémoc was. Well, I'm sorry?
That's an insult. Calling him, comparing him to Kikín.
No, hang on a second. Let me explain why. Because Kikín was willing to do all the dirty work. You know, all the defending, basically the defending. You know, and he was willing to just do whatever it took to get the ball back and this and that, and be that guy to receive the balonazos and everything else. And Kiki did a damn good job at that. There's no, you know, Kiki gets a bad rap. Kiki was a gamer. I don't know why people badmouth Kiki so much. Dude scored a lot of goals, and scored a lot of goals for Mexico too. But anyway, so but Raul on top of that has incredible goal scoring skills because he can shoot well with either foot, and he's a good header of the ball, and he's and obviously again, you know, someone has that many assists, you know, has good vision and good touch around the area too. So he's done, because a striker is not going to send a 30-foot cross in, at least not very often, or a 30-yard. You know, he's not going to be on the flanks. So a lot of his assists are going to be, you know, setting up guys to take some nice shots. And then like 2 of those goals, he did that. He laid them off perfectly, and guys just blasted it into the net.
I got a comparison for you though.
Hit me.
And the thing I like most about him is his like technical, his on the ball, you know, foot ability and everything. Sort of reminds me of
Zlatan?
Aldo de Nigris. what should have been from Aldo de Nigris, because he was a big guy also, and he had good footwork in you know, in the box, and he was able to move around.
You know what Aldo's biggest problem is that he would get hurt like months before tournaments.
Yeah, big guys with good footwork.
Because remember, in 2010, remember his brother had just died, and in that Liguilla, before, y'all remember that, when he scored like 8 goals in the Liguilla, and it was he and Chupete, and they just destroyed whoever it was. Had a really good final, and it was again his brother just, and then he had that, you know, he and Chicharito were trading goals basically for the national team, but then he got hurt, and they had to call in Guille Franco, so it could have been, you know, Aldo and
the Nigris,
Chicharito in 2010. And it should have been Aldo and Chicharito in 2010.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened. And Tano de Nigris too. He had the makings, you know, of being a star player for the selección. Toño, he had that one good game against Brazil when Ojitos was coach.
He also, in the semifinal against Uruguay, in the game that Borghetti did the shake and bake and scored, Tano was the one that got the game winner.
Yeah, he was good in the air. It's a shame, man.
Is it Tano or Toño?
It's both, because it's Antonio de Nigris.
Right.
But in Argentina, if you're of Italian descent, they call you Tano. Like Italiano, Tano.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I guess the RGs in Monterrey, or I don't know how it got there, they started calling him
El Tano. His last name is De Nigris, so I'm sure that's. Well, anyway, yeah, he got black. See, he to me is the terrible damage that stupid Pacto de Caballeros does to players. Is a guy like De Nigris who has to go and spend the rest of his good years playing in in outback leagues, Turkey and wherever it was, where he bounced around, because Monterrey would not allow him to come back into the league, and they would ask about it, and he goes, "I can't comment about that." And it's just, there's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. And then the guy ends up having a heart condition and dying, which is, again, unrelated to the Pacto de Caballeros. But
did they ever say what was the cause of the heart thing?
He just had an irregular heart. His heart wasn't right. It was very unfortunate for. Excuse me, for Mr. De Nigris there. But his brother Aldo had, and then also in 2014, remember, he was the one that scored against Jamaica. In Jamaica, this is 2013, so he was obviously on Chepo's radar. He had a great Gold Cup when Chicharito couldn't score. It was De Nigris that would get the goals in the Gold Cup. So he was in the plans, and then he got hurt again before 2014, and he couldn't go.
There is another the Tigres, I think, because these guys played in both Tigres and Monterrey.
Right.
I think it's in Monterrey, but he doesn't have the Tigres. It's not his first. It's his second last name. It's the sister. It's the sister's kid. So I have to look. I have to see who it is to see if because
So he's half of the Nigris.
he's a half Tano, man. So yeah, gotta see. And I had heard of him a few years back, so I don't know what happened. He might have fallen off of the radar.
So, Hoa, did you get to watch the U.S. Colombia match?
Yes, I did, sir. I was keeping tabs. I want to see what the region has in store for us. But yeah, that they when they took the lead, and that was Julian Green. He stole the ball. He passed to George Weah's son, who's 18. And then he
18 and playing for PSG.
Yeah, he took it. He took it down the wing, and then he crossed it in for Bobby Wood. So I mean, those are some young players, and they lost bad, but I still think it showed there's a lot of good positive stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot to work with. I think they're going to be one of the stronger teams. I was telling Chiquis earlier, Costa Rica, Mexico, US, they're going to continue being the three teams to beat in the region.
Yeah, I do think that the balance of power though is going to probably start shifting toward the U.S. because I think that they're, based on potential, I do think that they probably have players that are a little bit more, at least at the skill position, a little more talented than Mexico. Maybe Mexico just didn't have the experience of the ones that are talented yet.
But like this side is missing. Like if you were to bring some of the other players like Hector Moreno and Titan Salto, other guys, it just become automatically that much more stronger. You get
Sure,
an Ochoa and all that. So I mean, the U.S. still doesn't have that. They don't have that luxury. They really can't bring in some of their better players are already over the hill. They're deuce.
Right. Well,
and the other guy
is that if the U.S. goes back to what they should do, which is to absorb and counter, which I mean that's, there's nothing wrong with playing that style. That with the players they have, they can do very well with that. Now, where they're probably lacking a little bit when they're absorbing and countering is on the defensive side. And when they try to possess, they still don't have the players that have the capability to do that effectively.
Penalty? Couple days.
I think so. I think somebody got pushed. Henry Martin got. Oh yeah, he got taken out. Maybe.
They held him down. Yeah, he.
And then they let him go. That was very dark arts-ish there. Now Raul Jimenez missed the penalty the last time he took it, so he's about to take one here. Let's see if he gets his mojo back. But he should just blast it into the corner and not even do his stupid little. See, when it doesn't work, it becomes a problem.
But Keylor, he's Real Madrid. He should block all these CONCACAF guys, man. These lower level CONCACAF teams.
3-2. Oh, wait, it's 3-2.
No. From the chat, El Amiguis.
Chicas, I thought you're gonna fire up the phone lines.
He didn't, man. Chicas, one job, dude.
I'm on a get a hotel internet connection. I'm lucky to be hosting.
So what one horse town are you in, Chiquis?
Oh, New York City. I can add him. You want me to add somebody?
El Amiguis elbow was saying he could see this ending 3-3. But
Codazo was saying that?
Yes. Savage.
Codazo is very prescient. Codazo agrees with me that if Mexico does not get the the coaches on the outside, and they're gonna have to look inside, I do think that Diego Alonso is going to be the is going to be the chosen one.
Who's going to be the chosen one?
Diego Alonso.
Oh,
because if they have to pick a Liga MX coach, which I think is probably at 50-50 at this point, then it's not going to be Tuca and it's not going to be Piojo. So out of the other 16 dudes, who has the, how would I put it, the panache to carry himself as that person, and I think he fits the bill perfectly. I think he's got national team coach written all over him.
I found him, John. He's
Found
a good-looking kid. El sobrino de Nigris.
If people just tuned in right now and heard what you said, they would be very worried about you, Joel. Very worried about you.
Let's not pretend. It's not like it doesn't. It matters, when players get, picked up by sponsors to promote stuff.
Well, sure.
That goes a long way. It's a reason why Nacho Ambriz, didn't really, you didn't see him selling hamburgers for Denny's or Pepsi or anything like that.
That's right.
Some of these other guys.
It would be hilarious if Nacho ends up doing commercials like for Bardol, which is notorious for all the babes they have in there.
He could do for Hertz. No, but I mean, I do think it influences. You get used to the promos and all that. So he's in the under 17 category.
Right. So of course, I know that sounds so. What Joel and I were talking about is one of the. This is the Nigris' sister's kid, right?
Yeah. So his name is Aldo, just like the other Aldo, Tames. I don't know if that's his. That must be his last name. Aldo Tames de Nigris. So he's in the under 17 for Rayados.
All right. Of course, Joel, if people would have tuned in last week and listened to me gush about Oscar Pareja, they would have sworn that they thought that he and I were going to go out and pick out China patterns. So
he's 17. He must be 18 right now because this is from last year. This is from January of last year. So he was 17. He's the son of Leticia de Nigris, who's the older sister, he's a striker, and he's been.
Hey, Joel, has your former Americanista neighbor, has he moved into your new neighborhood yet?
No, he hasn't. But I think he's tall. I don't have it here, but I think he's because all the Nigris, they were pretty tall. All of them, they were about 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So something to look forward to. He's kind of under the radar right now.
So Tuca makes another change. It's Raul Jimenez, and what does he do? He scores a goal. I'm telling you, Tuca, genio.
So wait, and then we have another promesa here. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was on the Guardian.
Oh, the one that plays for Juve?
No. That's another story. No, not him. He plays for Juve de Nuevo Toledo. This guy is Sebastián Martínez. He's from Chivas. He's on the under 17 as well. So Guardian was doing the top 60 players, the top 60 upcoming youth. And the one Mexican is Sebastián Martínez, striker.
Well, did get our buddy Tom and Numeritos Harrison to come on the show now that he's had about a month or so in Mexico.
El Numeritos, that's right. I was thinking the same thing. He's been going to the games now. For those that don't know, Tom Harrison is an English guy that he managed to see a Mexican League game at like 3 in the morning,
Jefferson Montero is the one
and
who turned him.
and he just loved it, all the attacking football, and he started just keeping tabs in Mexican League and watching it and getting involved and he lived in the U.S. for a while because he works as a coach, youth coach. So living in the U.S. gave him more chance to keep up with Liga MX, and then he couldn't get his visa. He couldn't get his visa extended because they offered him, the job they offered him to stay longer. And asking how I know is I worked alongside of him. We did a couple articles together.
Really?
So this is stuff he told me. So then he couldn't
So
get
you
a
weren't working
visa
alongside
to
him as a
stay.
coach. You went coaching on the side.
No,
yourself.
not as a coach. Writing.
No.
We wrote a few articles for Food Mix Nation. That's how I met him. Anyways,
you're such
so
an
he
Andrew.
went. No, I'm like a slut. I work with a bunch of people, No, don't get jello. And then so he went back to England and he's trying to figure out what to do, and he ended up getting a job for I think his West Ham Academy in Mexico City.
Yep.
And it was just he didn't think about it twice, and he's going to all these games now, because he's in the F. So he's going to the Olímpico, to the Azteca. He's just enjoying it, and he was saying on Twitter the other day just how much of a blast he's having living in Mexico.
It's Mexico City is a great city. I mean, you can do pretty much anything you want 24/7 because it's the third largest city in the world.
That's still very interesting though. You see something at 3 in the morning, and then you.
I've had some of the best tacos of my life at 3 in the morning.
The only thing I saw like 3 in the morning was probably Wally George, but the hot seat. Well, it was like.
I'll tell you what was surprising to me was walking around. This was like 10 years ago. This was right when the crime was crazy, but it had actually calmed down enough in Mexico City where couples would just walk in a neighborhood, late at night, which I thought would just never happen.
It wasn't going to turn into a Valentin Trujillo movie.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have to go look for revenge. Exactly. I remember those when the crime was high. The Valentin Trujillo, it was always like somebody's girlfriend got gang raped.
That's right.
And then he would just seek Mexican justice.
Sam Peckinpah.
I saw those movies at the drive-in.
Really?
My old man would take me. Yeah.
What drive-in?
It was in Santa Fe Springs, right here, and so they'll show 2 movies and a cartoons at halftime. But we will go see the Mexican movies,
I need
some of them even had Chente in them, dude.
Hey now, I would well, hang on.
But Trujillo, he was like the Charlie Bronson, He was like the Mexican Mr. Majestic. So I saw a lot of that. I was too young for that, though, John. I don't think I should have been watching that. Gang rapes
and weren't they like really bloody too?
Yeah, they were, man. Yeah, they were. They were pretty bad. They were probably figured I was asleep by then. It's pretty late.
Right.
Got traumatized. Had nightmares and stuff.
So 10 minutes left, 3-2. I think Mexico could hold on for the win.
I think they're going to get a fourth.
You think they're going to get a fourth?
Yeah, because he made a fourth change. It's Tecatito, so Tecatito has to score.
Oh, man. Tecatito is.
He has to score because he was the fourth
Tecatito.
Is it Tecatito?
He's been fooling some people, and one guy got a little bit upset, and he might get injured. I was like really worried for him. He keeps on doing those.
He just got fouled right. Oh, they told him to get up. The ref told him to get up.
Is Tecatito still blonde?
He just got
He,
injured
he,
right now. No, he's not.
he was going Super Saiyan for a while.
Yeah, see, man, he fools people all the time, and people get upset, and they want to take out revenge on him.
Revenge. That was the main
Oh,
of the movies. And Dalmadas was the other. The Dalmada brothers. That was the other.
yeah.
Those are the top two movies to
Would you
go
like to see
watch.
a Cantinflas Valentin Trujillo mashup,
Maybe.
or a
Maybe.
or how about a India Maria Valentin Trujillo mashup,
That was that
where
was the
where
other.
India Maria is the one who goes out and gets the revenge.
Well, that was a comedy movie. Sometimes they mixed it up, right? So they'll give you the gritty one, which is either Valentin Trujillo or the Almeida brothers with they never seem to put bullets, man. Their six shooters would have like 20 shots, and and then they'll throw the India Maria, which would be like the comedy.
Right.
Uh,
I remember the one where she was a trapeze artist in the circus.
I think I saw that one. I saw one where she comes to the U.S. It's called Ni de aquí ni de allá.
That one I
Yeah,
haven't seen. That one I
that's the one
haven't
I've
seen.
seen.
She ends up working as a like I forgot how she ends up in the U.S., but I need to rewatch that. You know what I saw as a
Do you
mashup?
think would it be possible, Joel, that India Maria, when she was in the U.S., taught this girl to say this?
Que chingue a su madre en America.
Could be though. I never think I heard her say a bad word, man. She was
No,
pretty wholesome.
they definitely kept it clean. They definitely kept it clean.
Yeah, she's very wholesome. You know what I did see mashup? Cantinflas and Chabelo.
Wow.
And you could find the clip. It's on YouTube. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny clip
When I
where
was a kid,
Chabelo's playing the little when you
go
were
ahead, go ahead.
no, he's just playing the little kid and Cantinflas is he's trying to get with this MILF and and the kid and the you know the girl he's after, the kid comes from school and he's scared and he's saying this, he's getting bullied. And Cantinflas is like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And then so the bully comes looking for him and it's Chabuelo and he's all tall. It's pretty funny if you guys get a chance, you can YouTube
Was he
it.
dressed as Chavelo doing it?
I think he is. I mean, it's black and white, but it's really funny, top to bottom. You can find the clips about 5 minutes. It's hilarious.
I will definitely look out for that. No, I was when I was a kid, Cantinflas was he was the spokesman in Mexico for Mastercard, which was down there called Carnet. Carnet, su tarjeta de crédito. Anyway.
Kind of man.
And so he would do the commercials in all of his, because it wasn't just Cantinflas, he had a couple other characters too. So he did the commercials where he was all the guys. It was pretty funny. So 3-2. Tecatito had a chance, but was kicked very hard.
I say
Gustavo
this is
Matosas.
La Tosas. I say this is a good win for the youth to beat this experienced Costa Rica side.
Absolutely. And then when Tuca wins in the Bombonera, then people say, Tuca, no te vayas, Tuca, no te vayas.
You think Mexico can get the win at the Bombonera?
Hey, you never know.
I don't think it's impossible, but I mean, what team is Mexico taking? If they continue with this youth team,
it is a fecha FIFA, so well, maybe that's the deal with Argentina. I mean, it's like, hey, we'll go down there, but we'll both take experimental squads. But I think Argentina is trying to lure Messi into playing one of these.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then we have this whole thing that's been going on with some of the experienced players, with Mexico over the image rights. But I was telling Chiquis earlier how they've been talking about it for weeks now about Layun and Chicharito, about them, about them being some of the perpetrators of this stuff. From some of the news that got leaked, before the World Cup when you had the big party, and so it says
Oh,
that
oh,
the squad
oh,
was divided.
oh,
Oof,
man.
oof, y recontra oof. So the team was divided. So you had the Rafa Marquez group, and then you had like the Chicharo group, which weren't at the party.
I thought they
But
were
in
at the party.
solidarity, they weren't. They later claimed that they were.
Well, so
That they had just shown up and left, but
yeah.
it was just them showing solidarity because it took them like 3 or 4 days to
That's right. He
make
appeared
that
like
claim.
on the Femex Boot official Twitter and said, "Yeah, I was at the party with the putas. We all had a good time. It was great."
Yeah, but you know some of these other guys are gone. Well, Marcus is gone. He was very influential. I don't know if you guys saw. They had Cuauhtemoc Blanco on one of these TV shows, and he talked about again about how he was left out of the World Cup, and he was saying how it was the Atlas boys, with Marquez, how that they conspired to take him out of the national team.
Yeah. Well, this stuff always seems to happen when there's not a coach. It's because the last time, and by the way, this is also the anniversary of the big fiesta that they had in Monterrey, which for whatever reason caused such a massive media shitstorm that lasted years, because again, they're choir boys, and then they have to go, be put in the cocoon and not let out at all, unless they make official, national team appearances, even though the concentracion had officially ended when they walked out of the stadium. In fact, they even said, yeah, the you are on your own. The minute you walk out of here, you're on your own. You do whatever you want. And oddly enough, it was the same newspaper that reported on them having a little party in South Africa. As I don't know who could have tipped them off that this was happening. Excuse me. And so now they're having this this other riff, and it's because there's no there's no leadership right now. There's a leadership void because there's no coach.
Yeah, but those guys, if they think that they're going to, you know, have more pull, they're mistaken. I've been hearing these type of things since the '90s.
Yeah, and I
They've
don't
never been
necessarily
resolved.
right. And and the reality is that both Layuna and Chicharito, if they want to control their image rights, I get that, but their time on the national team is winding down. So they might be involved in the Gold Cup this coming summer, but that's gonna be it for them. They're not, unless Chicharito comes back to Chivas. Oof, you're gonna to Chivas and has like a 13-14 goal season. Then he might as well be retired from the national team after this Gold Cup. He's and Layun, I know he playing it. He'll probably the same thing for the Gold Cup is there. That's going to be it for them. We'll see how that.
A thought came into my mind earlier when we were talking about the future of this team and the youth that's being used right now. I was thinking that with all this youth and this like long-term goal of the U.S. World Cup, if we over target, the team might end up not being good for the next World Cup, not being fully formed, and actually do worse this upcoming World Cup.
What bitter sauce do you use on your food, Beto?
Beto, you are just the Debbie Downer in you is just it's impressive. It is impressive. You're like Eeyore, man.
How does he go? we're gonna lose. We're not gonna do good in the World Cup.
Sound clip. We need a new sound clip.
Oh.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Tecatito almost got his goal. I was almost Tuca almost had a poker, a 4-change poker.
But 8 years is pretty long, man. It's pretty difficult.
I know they're targeting for 8 years, but then in 4 years they're going to be we're not quite ready. We need 4 more years. We need 8 years.
No, I don't.
4 years.
No, man, come on.
They're still young though. Like if they keep on doing these young guys and they got the old generation like.
No, but you're hoping to have a core group, so not all of them. You're gonna have a good 5-6 players that you could build a squad around or that you could count on. So a lot of times the goalkeeper, and even Ochoa, man, he'll be the next Conejosaurus Rex. He could, and I wouldn't mind, personally, I wouldn't mind if Ochoa is starting in 2026. He's been very reliable.
How badass was it of Tuca to talk about the generational changes by 2026? And of course, Conejo will be a candidate for that team. It's just fantastic.
No, but
he's got a huge laugh at it.
Yeah, and looking at Ochoa, have you guys remember him making like some error garrafal in the World Cup match? Like never, man. It's been 3 World Cups. He's had some good consistency, man. I like his work ethic. So I could see him being one of the third keepers. But if with some of these other guys,
Ochoa is only 32. See, he was 20, so then 2014. Yeah, he's 32. So he's got at least 2 World Cups left in him. He's going to be a 6 Copas.
Another 6 Copas, right? New record.
Yeah, he's already done 4.
Yeah, so he's going to be the third. Is it the third or the fourth Cinco Copas? The fourth Cinco Copas, because Rafa became the third one. So it's the original Cinco Copas, goalkeeper from León. And then La Tota Carvajal, and then the German Lothar Matthäus.
Rafa, and then Memo Ochoa. And Memo Ochoa has a chance to be a Exacopa, el Exacopero.
How many World Cups has Buffon did in?
Buffon did.
He could have been in.
Stopped at 4. He would if he would have qualified. He would have been at 5 Copas too.
Oh, that's right. They didn't qualify.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking at.
Yeah, he's 40.
And Memo and hey, you're hearing it at the cantina first, man. You won't hear it until like maybe 2 more years. The other guys will talk about it.
What's that?
Memo being a 5 Copas, maybe even 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adelantamos aquí.
Yeah, and then Memo's finally going to get his chance to be a goalkeeper for a big team once he gets his passport, and then they won't have to which he should have gotten already.
I don't know about big team, but I probably like a Valencia,
Yeah, he'll get a shot. He'll get it. I mean, again, goalies can play, into their late 30s. So he's got a good 6 years left.
Es rentable. I don't know how that translates to English.
He's very marketable.
Yes, but also very reliable.
Yeah, exactly. He is a solid buy. You know what he is? He's like that Craftsman screwdriver you have in your toolbox, or your grip it wrench.
So Tuca got his win of his second round. Finally got a win.
He did. They came from behind twice. They were down 1-0. They tied it. They were down 2-1. They equalized and they got the winning goal. And it was by penalty by Raul Jimenez. Henry Martin came in and scored, and Victor Guzman scored a great goal.
And unlike Cambios Osorio, his cambios do work.
They do, because he brought in Jimenez, and he said, play striker. Instead of quiero que seas mi interior defensivo porque eres muy alto.
Hey, I don't know if you guys heard, but there's some big rumors going on that Juan Cambios Osorio might be switching from Paraguay to Colombia.
Already?
Yeah, that in November, that he might make the jump in November.
They
'Cause he
already
has
didn't like him?
no. He has a clause in his contract, and I guess Colombia might take him after all. I don't know if Hurtado is part of that deal. Hurtado is the big promoter from Mexico who's Colombian, or has a lot of links to Colombia, and you guys could go see it if you have Instagram. Go to Carlos Hermosillo's Instagram, and he did a video where he said he was eating at a restaurant and he overheard Hurtado and the president of the Colombian FA and all that negotiating stuff. I don't know why he leaked it, but it's out there, main.
Maybe that's why we haven't heard from Profe Cambarrayas lately, because maybe he's negotiating with the Femex Foot right now and to become one of the coaches.
Hey, what a slap in the face, though, man. You know, if you're the Paraguay FA, I mean, of course they were stupid enough to want to allow that release clause, you know.
Do you know who the coach was of Paraguay when Mexico whipped them 6-0? Hugo.
Yes.
Whipped Paraguay 6-0 in Copa America. Who was the coach?
For Paraguay?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Chiquis?
Can't say I remember.
It was El Tata Martino.
Oh, damn.
Because in the game there was that early penalty because the goalie had tripped Nettie, I think it was. So obviously they can't take the keeper out, so they take another player out. And you're thinking, oh, he'll just take a striker. No, he took out a defensive midfielder against Mexico.
Oh, man.
So Mexico ended up having like 90% of the possession. And I mean, to me, it was incredibly disrespectful, and it wouldn't shock, and it didn't shock me at all that Hugo said, "Hey, if you're going to do that to us, then we are going to punish you." And
punish you did. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just
That's a
brutal,
good fun fact.
Yeah, little fun fact. So before we wrap it up here tonight, then, so Mexico wins 3-2. They got playing Chile in Querétaro in a couple days. So it looks like he's going to have all of his full European complement, like Chucky and Raúl, and it was just those two that came over, right? Everyone else is from Yankees.
Yeah, I think Chicharo. They're saying that Chicharo and Layun have been.
Well, Chicharo's been sick. Chicharo hasn't played in a month, so there was no way he was going to come either way.
Yeah, but they're saying that they're not even calling them for the Argentina games
because of the little spat that they're having right now.
Yeah, the only player I would like to see in the Argentina games is Vela. I would really like to see him play with with these younger guys.
If his team is an MLS, like an MLS playoffs, because here's you guys will love this is so MLS has their playoffs. It starts in a few weeks, so they have like the first round, and then they have the quarterfinals.
I might just have to go, John.
Yeah, and then that's right. But then they have the Fecha FIFA. So the playoffs in MLS take a 2-week break because of the Fecha FIFA.
That's wow.
Yeah, I mean, talk about losing interest. Talk about losing interest. Man. I mean, they have no choice. I get it, but tell me again why your calendar works so well for you, MLS.
You know what was losing interest? That the league goes on during the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, oof.
I remember I was covering the Chivas USA, and I remember that I was going almost every other week, and I was keeping close tabs, and then the World Cup, I just completely forgot. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that happened. Now, this is like, now what's worse, MLS scheduling the playoffs around the Fecha FIFA like that? Or when Mexican teams used to play the Libertadores and had a Liguilla game, and the Femex Foot would say, no, we can't suspend the Liguilla game. You're going to have to play both And then, America has to send the B team down to Libertadores because, they can't send a B team to Liguilla.
Femex Food allowing Monterrey to postpone a league match so they could host a friendly because they're inaugurating their stadium. That was bad. While the Libertadores team in semifinals, they don't get that.
Right. So for folks that want to make fun of MLS about that, remember your siente tu liga, as they say. Well, gentlemen, I think that we have a good spot for us to wrap it up here. And I got to do a little commentary on the game. We talked Almeida. We talked a little Chivas, as we always do. We talked Tuca. The Mexican national, the women's Mexican national team, unfortunately, did not qualify. And good on Panama for getting the opportunity. It looks like they'll be playing, I think, Jamaica for the playoff, because I don't think either of them are going to beat Mexico, Canada, or the U.S. They'll get the two bids, and then the way that works is then the losers of the semifinals will play each other for the third spot, and then the loser of that game will play in a repechaje with the team that earned the half spot in South America. So either Panama or Jamaica both of them have potentially 3 chances to make the World Cup. Actually, they both have 3 chances, because even if they lose the game, they still go to the repechaje. So there you have it. Mexico could have been one of those teams, but it did not work out for them. Cheeky, so you still have any relatives in Pensacola? Because they got rocked pretty hard. If you do.
Yeah, my parents are over there. It wasn't too bad. A little bit of rain, and then that was it.
I'm gonna call BS on that. I'm sure that it was probably a little more heroin than a little bit of rain. Because I've seen images of Pensacola. It got leveled, dude. Leveled.
Oh well, 40 minutes away from Pensacola.
Okay. Are they inland or like further west?
Oh yeah, Pensacola's the beach, so they are about 30 minutes inland. So Fort Walton Beach is the beach south of where they live.
Oh, okay. And then they made it out okay, because didn't they almost take like a direct hit?
I think it hit Panama City. You're talking about Panama City, probably. Panama City got hit directly, I believe. And then that's further down. And then you have up towards Louisiana, up towards Alabama is where my parents live, and then Pensacola is right on the border with Alabama. So it's even further away.
Well, still, it's
yeah, it was close. It was
if they didn't sustain any major damage, then they got very lucky.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were lucky to get through it, no problem.
That's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that they were okay then.
Yeah.
Hurricanes. I've of all places to be, I have actually experienced a hurricane, and that was in New York City, of all places, like 20 years ago, in New York City, and it was crazy. It was incredibly windy, and what I remembered about it is that the rain hit you, it was like circular, so you were being rained on in all directions, like just constantly. It would just spin right around you, just rain all over you. Absolutely bananas. But then the next day it was clear. It was just beautiful and clear, and that was that.
We used to go surfing before the hurricane came over.
Because of the waves.
Yeah, but they're all choppy, so it was garbage. It wasn't good.
Yeah. Well, Joel, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, John. Always a pleasure. And thank you for joining in. A los amiguis del Twitter and all the other sites.
Oh, were they participating on the chat? Because I did not look at the chat.
Yeah. Some of our good friends were there talking about L3.
Well, they got the result. They got a good result, 3-2. They looked good. They looked like they kind of had a little bit more of an idea of what they wanted to do. Played a good team in Costa Rica and then got a good result. So good on them. I'm sure Tuca took
Yeah,
plenty of notes. Plenty of
he
notes.
did. He did have that big notebook. So yeah.
Now, before I let you go, were you the one that was taunting Chiquis and I with the big 2-0 win that Chivas had against Pumas in a friendly? Was that you, or was that another Chivarman?
No, I brought it up, but it was for another reason. It wasn't for the win. There was something relevant about it. Now I can't remember anymore. Unless it was Juwan. He's been kind of feisty,
Well,
sacando las uñas
I
lately.
have
But
I feel I feel bad for Profe Juan because I I I provoked him with see, and I have to admit, if he's looking for anyone to blame in this whole situation that has arisen between Profe and I, it's you, Joel, for letting me know that it was
oh,
Hans Westerhoff as the coach when
it just
they
came,
played Ugo in the final.
it just came back to me. The game was played in San Jose.
Okay.
That's why I was talking about the win because that's where Mati is.
Oh, well, there
So
you
I
go.
said, is Mati? Did he go to the stadium? And I was talking about because I think one of his assistants is gonna be uh, El Maestro Benja. So I was
Really?
saying, are they gonna negotiate for Benja Jr.? Maybe La Chofis? Who
Oof.
knows? He might. They might push to bring some Chiva alumni,
Man, La Chofis
into the fold.
up would light up MLS.
Yeah, I think if he gets his mentality straight, man, because he's too, he needs to concentrate. He has a lot of talent. He's just not focused.
He needs to get his head good with ball.
Yeah, because this guy has the talent to be one of the Liga MX top players, and
Superstars.
he just not. He he every now and then he'll do something that wows everyone, makes the highlight reels, then he disappears. You know. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Pero ya me tengo que ir, chavos.
Yeah. ¿Te están pegando, Joel?
Sí, ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Joel. Well, glad to have you on. Chiquis, thanks for setting this up. I know you were in New York. So,
yeah, man, no problem.
Appreciate you. And then thanks to everyone on the chat for joining us. And thanks to you, the listener, for listening to us live Thursdays on YouTube or by downloading us onto your listening device of your choice through iTunes or Google Play. I wonder if you could say on one of those little Google things, hey, Google, play CantinaMX podcast, and then it just pops right on. I bet you could, Chiquis.
I'll try it. I'll try Alexa when I get home.
Well, yeah, you'll have to do that. You have one of those in your house, so you're letting Amazon listen to your every conversations.
Yeah, just like my phone does also.
Yeah.
Any microphone we have with technology is listening. Somebody's listening.
Somebody. It is a very, very wise point. Well, Chiquis, they get a big win. They play Chile early next week in Querétaro. The Tuca train keeps rolling, and by the end of these 6 games, I bet you the fans will be saying, "Tuca, no, don't leave. Tuca, stay. Tuca, don't go anywhere."
Yeah.
Is what's going to end up happening.
Beat Chile.
Yep. Thanks, Chiquis, for hooking us up, and again, thanks everyone for tuning in here on the CantinaMX podcast. My name is John Jagu for Juan Aceves, Teto Campa. This is John Jagu saying good night, and we'll talk to you guys next week.